still showing you a man's way. That's an argument, right? That can be possibly posed. I'm not gonna because
Proverbs 31.
Right. But what I am going to say, though, is one of the higher stages of Rastafari womanhood is a stage that I write about. And because I write about something and give it a name doesn't mean it hadn't existed previously. And I think that is this idea of the iritical negis, right? So we know, I know that iritical is our heavens, right? Our spirit, our higher self. And then the negis, right, is the Amharic word for queen or empress. So I'm saying that right now within Rastafari, I need more of the manifestation of the iritical negis. Because the iritical negis is the one that will help usher us in. When His Majesty speaks about that new race, and he says it's something for which your education has not prepared you. You understand? This movement has not prepared I for Sistren at the forefront of it. His Majesty has, though, because when you read His Majesty's speech, when you read His Majesty's, one moment, when you read His Majesty's speech, His Majesty blocks the sound that women in Ethiopia are no longer content with being housewives. They have helped to build their communities, and in times of war has stood side by side with their brethren fighting the enemies on the battlefield. So that alone shows you that it's a paradigm shift. 1930 shows you the ultimate paradigm shift. Empress Menen, if we had to create orders, and there's no reason why I cannot, because if you know anything about Rastafari history, you know that this was all created, even if it had a base in Christianity. When you reason to elders like Bongo Watu and Bongo Rocky, these men tell you, and Bongo Headful, who was one of the orchestrators of the I language, they'll tell you, oh, I came up with this when I was in prison, and I had a vision. Or, you know, so let's not act like everything within this trod is found in a book. It's an iritical trod. A lot of it comes from here. So what I'm saying is, Solomon Wolf in Ethiopia blocked the same sound. So as Sistren, I am saying that the movement is missing I's iritical contribution. So how do we do that? How do we create that? One of the ways, and the only way, just like the brethren, if you were to ask these Rastafari elders, how did they get certain iritical strength? It would be from giving Isis to Haile Selassie, from communing with Haile Selassie, the same way I as Sistren get I strength. But reaching out to the Empress is something that we have not been shown how to do. And maybe you can't show one, you understand? But we haven't even been encouraged to reach out to her on a level beyond the superficial level. I'm talking about praying to the Empress. I'm talking about giving Isis to the Empress. I'm talking about Nyabingi chants in reverence to the Empress. You understand? Because
Empress Menen is the queen of queens, is an Nyabingi chant onto the Empress.
Yes, I.
John knows that.
So that is the iris that, you know, as I go through the stages of Rastafari womanhood, I'm hoping that more of that develops and is given birth to. The second question that I want to ask is, can that intuitiveness that I'm reasoning about, can that be cultivated? How do you cultivate a high iritical heaven? Some people use Aishans to do it.
The time you watching.
Okay, some people, you know, reason in Jerusalem schoolroom. How do I as Rastafari Sistren cultivate that iritical energy that needs to be built?
We can create space. I can create spaces in our home. I don't burn Aishans, you know, for my own reasons. But I can create spaces in our home where we retreat to those places and give Isis. The youth are not there, the king man is not there, it's just your Iris and Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen.
Yes, I am. Yes,
So
I am.
meditation or meditation spaces.
Truly, truly. Yes,